Imagine a Monday morning in Fosi Audio's Research and Development Lab. The morning pep talk goes like this: "What fun can we have today?" And that's it. Fosi Audio's slogan is "Hi-Fi made fun." You know, I didn't take this seriously at first, but now I think I get it. Fosi Audio makes all kinds of hi-fi kit, and the principal driver isn't what need do people have that we can satisfy, it's how much fun we can give them. And so today I have the Fosi SK02, which I'm going to tell you is loads of fun. Let's unbox it. There's more seriousness in my talk about fun than you might think. I think buyers of this product will fall mostly into two camps. One where people see the Fosi SK02, check out its specifications and identify a need in their setup that the SK02 satisfies. The other camp will be hi-fi enthusiasts who have all sorts of kit already and enjoy setting it up, taking it down, setting it up some other way. There's nothing wrong with this. Some of us enjoy hi-fi passively, others want to play with it. Hi-fi made fun. So exactly what do we have here? I'm going to say that it's a headphone amplifier, but it's a fun headphone amplifier, and you might find something else to do with it. Let me start with inputs and outputs. There are two inputs, USB and optical. Shock, horror, there's no analog input. So if you thought you would drive this from the line output of your Roberts radio, you'll be disappointed. So the optical input. You know, I so don't use optical inputs that I said in a previous video that I don't even have anything with an optical output. Of course, a commenter put me straight. My TV has one. I'm still lacking the optical cable to actually use it, but I'm sure optical interconnect enthusiasts will just love it. I could, of course, buy an optical cable. Toslink. Is it Toslink or Toslink? I'm sure commenters will tell me. Anyway, I could buy one, and of course, I'd want one of audiophile quality. Here's the Audio Quest Diamond. 75 centimetres of this, 469 Great British pounds. 3 metres, 749 pounds. I abstain. Anyway, Toslink or Toslink, the input here is full size. Did you know they come in full size and miniature? The mini Toslink connector, according to my investigations, is a curiously familiar 3.5mm in diameter. We may need to revisit this later. The other input, yes, the other, there are only two, is USB-C, which of course also powers the unit. I love USB-C, and coming from someone who well remembers the days of SCSI, I have every right to. So, what can we drive this USB-C connector with? Well, I'd guess a computer, or maybe a streamer, but a streamer has yet to arrive on my investigative workbench. So I'll put a pin in that for now, and invite commenters to do what they do best. Comment? Anyway, guess what? I have a computer, so I'll dip in a toe and play some audio. Not for you, for me. OK, I've done that. I listened to Tales from Topographic Oceans by Yes, so you don't have to, into my favourite headphones of 32 ohms impedance. Wait, I have another pair of headphones, the Verum Audio Verum 1, with an impedance of a possibly indecent 8 ohms. I've put a link to my review of the Verum 1 in the description. The Fosi Audio SK02 is specified for headphones of impedance 16 to 300 ohms. Going above 300 shouldn't be a problem, other than the level may be low. More on this later. But going under 16 puts more of a load on the output. I tested this informally by playing a 100Hz tone into the SK02 and out into my Verum 1s, and turning up the volume in search for distortion. Well, I could turn the level up louder than I could ever possibly want to listen, and the tone was clean. I'm not saying your mileage might not differ, but the results seem good to me. I'll go back to my normal headphones now. Let's have some more fun. I'm just going to throw this into the piranhas and sharks that the Fosi Audio SK02 is a DAC. A DAC! Yes, I've said it. I know that in hallowed audiophile circles, a DAC is a device with the divine power to increase the subjective resolution of any digital audio signal you put through it. And of course, there's no such thing as a DAC that comes in at anything other than a proper audiophile budget. No, this is the way things seem to be presented these days. This is a DAC. Cost me £9 and gets audio out of my iPhone and into my headphones. No divine powers, just digital to analog conversion. So the Fosi Audio SK02 might not be sold as a DAC, but it is, and it conveniently incorporates its own headphone amplifier. What is DAC-ish, though, very DAC-ish, is that there's a display of sampling rate. So you can see, as if you wanted to know, whether the audio you're listening to is coming in at 44.1 kHz, 48, 96, 192 or a mighty 384 kHz. You're going to have to forgive me that I have no way of testing at 384 kHz. But, come on, I'm not going to hear any difference. But I'm having fun. This is the point. Unfortunately, in addition to 384 kHz, there's another kind of fun that the SK02 could give me, but I don't have anything to test it. Ready? DSD, Direct Stream Digital. The audio I've been playing to myself so far has all been PCM, pulse code modulation, but audiophiles often prefer DSD, perhaps because they can hear the benefits, perhaps because it seems more analogy than regular digital, or perhaps that's where they get their fun, and why not? So I live in a DSD desert. Coming from pro audio, DSD really is niche. You can't do much with it other than record it and play it. I'm leaving out detail that I'm sure commenters will add, and I promise that I will, really will, cover DSD in detail at some point in the future. Anyway, dear DSD enthusiast, the Fosi Audio SK02 is your friend. I'm going to skip over some details that won't really affect anything or anyone and move on to the volume knob. What? Isn't that a detail that I could have skipped over? Not really. I have to comment that this isn't an ordinary potentiometer. It's a rotary encoder. This is interesting because the range of useful volumes is spread out over 3 or 4 revolutions, giving more resolution than a normal pot. So that's good. The downside is that with a normal pot, I mean normal and not one that combines the power switch, you can leave it in the same position for all of your listening. One that combines the power switch, you can mark it with a wax pencil. With the rotary encoder, well, you're starting from scratch each time. Call me picky, but in professional audio, standardising your listening level is a good thing. The volume control is also multifunctional, and I'll try to be neutral on this. You can click it once to play or pause, double click to mute, or long press for power on or off. Single click and double click worked for me with Spotify. So yes, with my 3 metre, £749 Toslink cable, I suppose I could be sitting in my armchair, playing, pausing, muting, unmuting. Fun of a kind, I suppose. OK, that's 2 of the surfaces of the SK02 that have stuff on them. Now the third. Yes, there's a 3.5mm mini jack headphone output socket. Yes, there's also a 4.4mm headphone output socket. What? Call me naive, but this is a new one on me. Anyway, I've researched and apparently it's a standard for balanced headphone outputs. Aha. Now, this could be a topic for an entire video, but I've looked into it and balanced headphone outputs are a thing. A controversial thing. The essence is that each side of the headphone has 2 wires. One is driven, the other is connected to ground, unbalanced. In a balanced output, both wires are driven in opposite phase. To what benefit, one might ask? Well, I know of one benefit from personal experience. I used to be a fan of headphones. I say used to be, but they went through a period when their cables were very fragile, so I changed. That's a long time ago, so I'd be very surprised if this was still a problem. The headphones I used, both professionally and personally because I liked them, were high impedance. 600 ohms, I think. The advantage of this professionally is that you can drive them from a power amplifier, as many pairs as you like in parallel. Use XLR connectors and you're laughing. For personal use though, I built my own headphone amplifier. The problem was that I was using an op-amp for a single-ended, unbalanced output. But even with the power supply at the maximum voltage that the op-amp could work with, the level in my headphones was too low. So I redesigned, added another op-amp to each channel and made the output balanced. Driving both ends of the output gave me twice the voltage and therefore an extra 6 dB, which was enough. Commenters, I used an XLR for the output of this amp. Tell me how many pins it had. That's it, the benefit of a balanced headphone output. And it's only relevant so that high impedance headphones can be louder. This is a topic that I need to look into further and see what other opinions there are out there. If you have any, then please feel free to let me know in the comments and I'll investigate. So that's about it. I think I've covered everything that's important, including the fun. But there's something else, again, like the 4.4mm headphone socket, that's new to me. I mentioned Toslink. I don't seem to have a use for it myself, but many people do, and that's fine. I mentioned mini Toslink as well, on a 3.5mm connector. That is curiously the same diameter as a regular mini jack. Well, right here on the Fosi Audio SK02, we have a socket that's pre-fitted with a rubber bung. Remove that and we have a 3.5mm socket, the aux out. A regular analog output, and I tested it. But what's that red glow inside? Turns out it's an optical output as well. Blow my socks off with a feather. As I said, I don't do optical, but those that do will be raving about this. Optical input, optical output, what's not to love? Oh, maybe that, according to the manual, the volume control doesn't work when you're using the optical output, and only the USB input is active. Oh well, there is such a thing as too much fun, I suppose. And you'll certainly be having too much fun finding that bung again after you've dropped it. There we have it, the Fosi Audio SK02. I haven't covered every detail, so you should definitely check out its features and facilities yourself. But I like it. One day, I'm sure I'll have a use for it. Maybe when some enterprising audiophile optical cable manufacturer sends me some of their products, free to test. See you soon.